Hello, everybody. Oh no, what's going on? Why am I... There we go. Hey. Oh, and other stuff is not happening too. Yes, glasses. I can take off my glasses. Yeah, I need to be able to see what I'm saying, and also why there's my my captions, my trust. Well, I say trusty, I mean quote unquote trusty captions. Also, I have glasses and a headset. Yeah. So hello, friends and relations. Hello. How are you doing today? We have so many people here. We have an Everdell. Hello, Everdell. We have an A. Hello, A. We have a Fludis. Hello, Fludis. We have a Bergameow. Hello, Bergameow. And a Stamkunst. Hello, Stamkunst. You're so welcome here. And I see that Grizzly Gary has followed me. I'm not sure if the notification came on. In case it didn't, it should. There we go. Grizzly Gary is a VTuber sibling of mine. You may have noticed something on the Twitter of Rush, another sibling, making artwork of a lot of our siblings, and it is lovely. It is so good. But what you came here for today, and oh, I see we had some dropped frames. Oh dear. Let's keep an eye on that. But what you came here for today is about ignorance. No, don't worry, Grizzly. Don't worry. Don't worry at all. Is it also like, should I say Grizzly or should I say Gary, or should I say this the full thing? I don't want that to spell crazy. I said Grizzly. Thank you, captions. But feel free to share what your preference is, Grizz or Gary. Okay, Grizz is cool. Captions is just not working. But Grizz is cool. Yes. Let me actually drop into the game. We have already done a little bit of rolling and stuff and setting up characters. But we're just going to discuss what we are going to be playing. Because we are going to be playing Scion. Hello.
Hello.
Okay. Let's go with that for now.
Okay. I'm gonna go here. Alrighty. So since we've got some people, since Ghost is going to be unable to make it for some time, we decided to go forward and play Scion, which is kind of like the sister system to Chronicles of Darkness, along with like Trinity and other story path related games.
Mm-hmm.
But the best way to kind of explain Scion is if Chronicles of Darkness is a gritty, darker version of our world, Scion's kind of like the brighter mirror to that type of thing.
Yeah, and just raise the saturation.
Yeah, just a little bit.
More bright instead of grown dark.
Mm-hmm.
Can be. To get people who aren't too familiar with it set up in regards to it, gods exist. The old gods are still around. They've been doing they've been influencing humanity off and on throughout time. There isn't a real masquerade type of thing going on.
Unfortunately, Zeus is real.
Unfortunately, Zeus is real.
I can go buy Zeus. We just want to talk. I mean, if that's something we want to go for.
No, none of us are related to Zeus, right?
As far as I know. But you know he gets around.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, you'd never know, right? That's kind of how...
Yeah.
It's like the thing where like everyone is at least partially related to Zeus by now.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
But
yeah.
There's different things to play as in Scion, but since they're kind of working on a lot of expansions, and for a lot of the good stuff that Onyx Path does, the bad stuff becomes it's out when it's out type of thing. Most characters are Scions, which is just they are. I prefer the term chosen of a god type of thing. Um, there's many ways that this can happen, but our characters are a little bit more than a regular person type of thing. That being said, if you guys were to suddenly wake up in the world of Scion, you probably wouldn't notice it right away until you go down and then decide to take a look at a local church, and instead of being a Baptist or Presbyterian church, it's suddenly a church to Thor or a church to Amaterasu or something like that. But yeah, that's the general setting aspect and cells in regards to things. Um, and without getting too much into it, we can go ahead and work on some character creation stuff. I know a couple of us worked with this last time. It wasn't streamed or anything like that, but regardless, we could always go forward and make sure things are put up or tightened up, type of thing. So since everyone's kind of got their base concept, I'm going to skip to step 2 because I like waiting to do deeds or this system's version of aspirations until after we actually have an idea of what our characters are going to be like.
Right.
Sounds like a good idea, to be
Yeah.
honest. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd
Yeah.
like to know what my character even is before I start making goals for them,
Exactly.
Same. Same.
in or out of game.
Okay.
Yeah, like I've been thinking a little bit about my character. Basically, it's just alternate universe charisma, like how her life would have gone differently, with gods being real.
Or, like people knowing and actually being able to properly fight the monsters.
Yes.
yeah.
All right. But since we're going to skip step 1 in the character creation of the
Mhm.
book, we're going to go straight to step 2, which is paths.
Mm.
Generally, what a path is a path is partial to your backstory, whatever that might be. However much detail that you want to put in, that's great. There are some examples for those of you that are following along on page 100 of the book. But I believe most of us have decided at least an origin path. There's also a role path and then a path that's tied to your pantheon, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, it's a
Um,
society pantheon anyways.
Yeah, society or pantheon. Okay.
So I'm just curious. So like for me, origin could be terra incognita then.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then because I don't know if I went over this with Keestrith and Netherlad last time, and just for everyone else, since we're doing it, since we're kind of filling
Mhm.
stuff out with Terra Incognita and things like that. The best way to think about Terra Incognita is if you're familiar at all with D&D, it's the Feywild and the Shadowfell.
Am I
The difference
familiar with the
being-
Feywild? Have I based my entire online persona around my concept of the Feywild?
I don't know about Stompkins, their Flutis, or Averdot. That's not true. I know they all play D&D. You kind of have the overworld and the underworld and different planes, subplanes in between. The overworld kind of connects a lot of positive, quote unquote, afterlives. That's where Asgard connects to the Shen Heaven that connects to oh gosh, I always have more than one example in regards to these, but I can't remember what they are. Whereas you have yeah. And whereas the underworld is connected to Tartarus and then Duat and other forms of the underworld. There are places in between. That's where you'd find like your Jotunheims, or if you are into that kind of thing and you want to make one a Sanctum Sanctorum where it's bigger on the inside type of thing. That's technically connected to
That's
Terra
where you put your
Incognita.
demi planes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But that is Terra Incognita. If you click on the arrow to the right of your path there, it's going to create a little drop-down menu.
Mm-hmm.
and that's going to have some things for asset skills and connections. To go over those real quick, asset skills is just going to be 3 skills. You can have similar or the same skills in 2 of your paths. So you can have technology in, say, your role in your society path, but you can't have it in all 3 type of thing.
Because you get skill points based on.
Based on your paths.
Yep.
Based on-
The skill points you
I'm
can
sorry, I was
see over
opening
here.
some books and I didn't quite catch that last part.
No worries. Your skill points are going to be based on your paths, and it's however, and they're all varying amounts. And because they don't want the total to go over 5, you can't have more than 2 skills, or you can't have a skill in more than 2 paths.
Okay.
Type of thing. As for connections, to go over those briefly, you get all 3 of these for each of your paths. You get a specific individual that can be like a mentor or a friend or what have you. You get a group of people, which can be anything, and then you get either a specialized location or equipment, whatever you deem fit for that. But that's connections. In addition to it, you always have access to stuff that you would normally have access to based on your role. For example, since we're talking about Terra Incognita, you always have a path home type of thing. You're never going to be stuck here if necessarily, where other people might need to go figure out a different way to get into Terra Incognita. Some suggestions for path skills for the Terra Incognita one is culture, survival, occult, or athletics. And you just pick any 3 of those. You can pick any of those, you can pick none of those, and you can pick empathy, integrity, and leadership for your asset skills. Those are just ones that you choose.
I'm having some technical difficulties.
How
I
dare
feel like
they?
something is being. Yeah. Okay, now it's working as it should.
Excellent. Given that you are asking a question, it's White Wolf based in the sense that Storyteller was made by White Wolf, and this is Story Path. So it would be kind of like Pathfinder to D&D type of thing, where Paizo decided to go, I'm gonna make this instead,
I'm
and
gonna
it
make
uses the
my
same
own
base.
D&D with blackjack and hookers.
Exactly.
I don't get why this happens.
Uh-oh.
It just refuses to let me even use the search field if I tap out of it.
That is all.
That's strange. What you
It's real fucking weird.
What you looking for? I can hit.
I'm
This
just looking at what I get for having Terra Incognita as background thingy.
Let me do that. And these are just examples, the ones that are in Terra Incognita. Terra Incognita is on page 103.
For instance, I
For the original
don't
one.
have like a set one from the book,
Neither do I.
though the one that would fit closest would either be adventurer or military brat, in that my character grew up with her grandfather, who is or was the leader of a cell of hunters, monster hunters in this case, which in Chronicles of Darkness in Deviant, Charisma's grandpa was also a monster hunter, a monster of hunters, no, a hunter of monsters, from which he inherited her clan.
Yeah.
And now that is more out in the open. There's less there is less subterfuge there, but there's still some subterfuge, and that is one of the skills that I got from that path.
Yeah.
But yeah, Grandpa's gone, but his buddies are still there. They have a lot of experience not dying.
Excellent. And sometimes that might come in handy. A couple other things to make a note. Some of the differences since we're talking about not dying. Unlike in unlike in Chronicles, where if I can just pump you full of damage,
Please
you're the
don't.
children of gods, and this is your story.
Hmm.
It doesn't make sense for the main characters to die unless they want them to die. So I cannot kill you without permission.
Yay! We
Interesting.
get to feel safe for once.
For once.
Whatever.
Okay. And since we did that with Origin, we'll move on to Roll. A role path, for kind of example, is what you're doing today. It is after your Origin, which is where you came from, and it's what you do now, which can either be your job or what type of role that you want to play in the
Mhm.
group itself. Let me take a look, actually, because there is... Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so this is something that I haven't fully fleshed out just yet.
Yeah.
So what you get is like you get one contact or like a group of contacts.
No, you get both.
You get one and a group of contacts per path.
Yep. An individual, which could be a mentor-like figure or a friend, or maybe in Lou's case, it might be a sibling. And a group of people, which could be loosely tied together in regards to it, or just kind of tied by circumstance-related things. For example, a king of the beggars might just have beggars as their group type of thing.
Okay.
And a specific set of equipment or location, whatever that might be.
Is there a Norse god of the hunt?
Norse god of the hunt.
Isn't that Scotty? Scotty, I don't know how to pronounce it.
That would be Skadi.
Yeah, that's it.
Or
Isn't that who it
Skade.
There's also
Or
Meteor.
is? Or giant.
Oh no, Meteor's Tuatha. Never mind.
Because what I'm thinking is the name Thorson popped into my head as like one of Gramps' buddies who was like from Nordic stock, not necessarily having a tie to the what's the word for the Norse gods? The Van?
Easier.
Aesir. But like having grown up in that culture, there might have been like names associated with that.
Absolutely. The ones that have the hunter calling, which may or may not make sense depending on what you're looking for, is Scotty and Njordir. Njorda. I apologize, Min. I greatly apologize.
It's fine. I will be butchering names left, right, and center. Let's just say so. That's
I picked one of the Shannon. I'm not Chinese, so.
Yeah, I picked the Nemetondeva, so and I am not Gaulish, and nobody speaks Gaulish anymore.
Nobody
so...
does anymore.
Let's just blame the Romans
Like-
and move on, shall we?
Yes,
That's
that's what I intend to do.
There's pagan subcultures in the Netherlands that might have like they feel an affinity for Nehelena, but I don't think they can like really bridge that 2,000-year gap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Two of the skills associated with Druid are Occult and Survival, just so you are aware.
Alright,
Because
so
there is the new
basically
path in
my
this
last
world.
thing cannot have those two then.
Correct.
Cold. Survival, and I should just pick another one, or...
Yeah, pick a third one.
Yeah. Probably gonna go empathy then, or maybe leadership.
Either
Let's go
will work.
empathy.
Alright. And then Society or Pantheon. Just for the sake of ease, I think I just kind of have told most people to pick their pantheon, but if you have a society or type of thing in mind, go ahead and pick that. But yeah. Let me take a look at the Nementon. Because they also
Actually,
have...
there's one too many N's in your.
There's one too many N's and...
Yeah.
Ooh. Oh.
I'm
Whoops.
being picky. Sorry.
It's fine. You're fine. But yeah. So I will let you pick a different one because the asset skills for the Nementon are close combat and survival. But since you have survival in 2 of them already, you could just pick 2 new ones.
Alright. But I'll go close combat and something else then.
2 other ones, yep. Oh, excuse me. But yeah. Excellent.
Trying
excellent.
to look up the pantheons for the Seer.
so-
we have.
I'm just wondering what integrity is.
Integrity is mental fortitude. It's kind of like a skill for mental fortitude.
I have
That's
5 in it.
that's the best way to explain it. Like it's going to be something that's going to make it so you resist mind
It's your-
control,
yeah.
resist
It's your
torture.
charisma saves.
Mhm.
Someone here in chat brings up a very important question. Would my character have an uncontrollable urge to pet the doggo?
I don't know.
I think the answer to that is yes.
How are you with doggos made of stone?
Dog lions? Yeah, okay.
Does that just mean that I need a brush and polish?
Are you not able to touch stone?
No, I am, but like
It's just made of rocks.
it's just made of rocks.
Yeah.
But would the doggo appreciate?
Guess I have to find out.
Okay.
Alright.
Overall weight stone doggo? Yes.
We'll get to that. We'll get to a lot of this cool stuff that you can get in this one. Part of the reasons why I've been so stoked to play this game. All right, now that we've picked our
It's my
paths,
turn to have a manticore.
Yes.
we can use our paths to figure out our skills. And so, like in Chronicles, I'm going to use these words a decent amount. We've got primary, secondary, and tertiary. Pick which path is your primary, your secondary, and your tertiary.
So I picked my
Generally, go ahead.
first is the what was the secondary path option again? You had origin, you have
Roll.
the roll path, yeah. That's my primary. Secondary is origin, and tertiary is my path to divinity.
And then generally speaking, like these are just what's important to your character or kind of what they've leaned into more or what you would want them to be more focused in type of thing. So it can be as arbitrary as heck. For those 3 skills in your primary, go ahead and put 3 dots in each of those 3 skills.
And then in secondary.
By the
put
way,
2,
I've
and
already done
tertiary
this,
put-
as you can see
Exactly.
here.
Lots of dots.
So I'm thinking for my contact with the hunter cell is a guy named Olaf Njördsson.
Njördsson?
Njörd, yeah, Njörd. I have trouble pronouncing a th and an r at the end of the word.
I appreciate Ghost. Ghost is a good friend of mine. Ghost picked the Aztec pantheon.
Yeah.
I can get like I will re-listen to Iron Widow and I'll be able to guess the Shen. I'm familiar with Japanese, and I feel pretty confident in guessing the Nemeton. I
I
cannot.
I mean, I would not be terribly confident in guessing
Mhm.
them, considering it's a dead language and everything. But it's a dead language. That's a positive. No one's gonna complain.
Oh, there's internet
Somebody
subcultures.
might. Somebody might.
Shrug and say
Uh-huh.
that. Just shrug and say it's your accent talking.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And just so we are, yeah, I was gonna say that the dots are cumulative, so like since you have two things of occult, whichever one's there, that total would be put together.
Yeah. I chose Nemeton as my primary. Oh shit! Did I put things incorrectly?
That's fine.
No, I intended on having Terra Incognita as my secondary, so and Druid as my tertiary. I did that incorrectly.
So yeah, it's 2 dots in culture, 1 dot in empathy. You just got those
Yeah.
mixed up.
Yeah. There.
Perfect. Now you don't have to pick anything right now because there are specialties in this one. The way that I am house ruling it, rather than doing the confusing thing where if you have a specialty in this, it affects all skills not related to it, which is no. I do have a list of example specialties in the Discord. Scion specialty examples. You wanted to take a look at them. Anything that has more than
Mostly because we got to integrity and we're like, what the fuck should I pick?
yeah.
Mhm.
I apologize. That's an alarm. But yeah. So anything that's at 3 dots or higher gets a specialty.
All right.
So in my case, that would be athletics, firearms, leadership, persuasion,
You
subterfuge,
don't have
and
to pick this
technology.
now. You can reference this at your leisure if you wanted to. If you have some difficulty picking one for integrity or leadership.
Mm-hmm.
Did anyone explain that thing with Hassan after?
Nope.
Okay.
Anyone
What?
explain the what?
One
Oh,
of the
yes.
example characters in the book has a skill with no dots and a specialization, and I don't know why.
Huh.
Interesting.
Which is definitely an errata because you can't buy specializations on skills less than 3 dots.
Like he's starting with it, so
Hmm.
shrug.
Okay.
So where do we put specializations, anyways?
If you click next
line-
to... Yep.
The
if you
line
click-
is editable.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm smart.
To be fair, we had this nice little neat box section over in Chronicles, so I don't blame you.
Let's see.
Oh, my knuckles.
I'm trying to still come up with connections for my role
I
path.
haven't thought of any connections at all, really.
And the connection that comes up, like first thing that comes up in my mind for the role is Pete the Plug.
You want a Pete? We can make a Pete.
And only people who've watched The Unsleeping City will understand that.
And that's fine. Like, I get what you're saying, and I could make an analogy to Pete. Give me a reason to re-listen to The Unsleeping City.
To explain to some people in chat who might have an idea, my character is kind of like a fixer, and my character also has a mythical item that allows me to buy anything for 10 to 20 bucks, and then the coin that I bought the thing with just reappears after a few minutes.
All right. But yeah, like connections. To further explain certain things that paths can be used for, since we're working on skills and stuff in regards to it. The best thing about paths is that you get to call on your path for free once per session, type of thing, and you can, call upon the connection or contact, so that way you can have someone come in and help you out. Or, and I'm just reading this straight from the book, once per session, you may add 2 dice to any roll that plausibly applies to your path experience. And you may spend successes on, they're called stunts, so it's extra successes, to make a twist of fate on this roll. And generally, for those of you that are a little bit more familiar with mutants and masterminds,
Me.
yeah, you get to tell me what happens. So, for example, with a Terra Incognita origin path, maybe you know that there's a back door to escape this tense situation that you're in through the wardrobe or something, like pulling Narnia. And
Yeah,
I
we're going to
go,
Narnia, guys.
yeah,
Hope you're
and
ready.
I
Sounds
shrug and I
fun.
go, okay, and that happens.
Honestly, if we go into different places, that's all fine. But I would rather not go to any world by Philip Pullman.
Yeah,
That's fair.
that's fine.
Also, thank you, Storm the Hedgewolf, for following.
That's just an example of paths and why they're somewhat important outside of skills, or for the connections, why connections are a little
Are
bit
my
more
captions not
open-ended, so
working?
you can do what you need to. But since we finished with skills, we'll go ahead and move on to attributes.
Hold on.
So attributes are set up a lot like
I think they
Chronicles, where
should
you're going to
work.
pick
I think they
mental,
should
physical,
work now.
social as a primary,
Yeah,
secondary,
my
and tertiary.
captions work now.
Yeah.
While I am muted
You
on
get
Discord.
six dots in addition to those dots that are there. You get 6 dots in your primary, 4 dots in
Yeah.
your secondary, and 2 dots in your tertiary. I like that word. I'm glad that this system taught me tertiary. It's a fun word.
Yes.
Here.
I didn't know tertiary.
Also, my dumb brain said attributes, more like attributes.
Hello, Michi.
What was that?
It's Netherland. Netherland says hello. And I'm sure people in chat will say hello too.
Come on, people in chat, say hello.
Yes.
How many did you say in
Okay,
secondary
well,
and
good thing I said
tertiary?
something that wasn't inappropriate.
4 and 2.
Also, attribute. Oh wait, before I go, do you need anything while I'm up?
Could I get some water, please?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Averdal and Stamkunst, say hello.
I will pass that along because she's doing stuff. So
And Floodus asks if it's time for OSHA violation remarks.
not currently.
Not currently, though my stream is 18 plus.
I believe everyone I follow stream is 18 plus, but because we all
Yeah.
curse like sailors.
I don't.
Hello.
No, I've been on
That's my
on
job.
boats.
I do all the cursing. It's me.
Thank you.
Trust me.
This is delegation of
Marcus's-
duties.
Marcus's son complains when I curse. I still curse.
I don't give a
Hmm.
shit.
Does Marcus
Yeah,
complain?
pretty much. No.
Okay.
There shouldn't be kids on the internet, Averdal. Anyway. Alright, so
And if
we've
the
got
kids are on the internet, they're gonna feel a lot worse anyway.
pretty much.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm just taking a look at your patron here. You've picked Ogmios. If people want to go over their patrons, they can. I know what I'm going to do for Ogmios, though. I thought about that for a while because of what we were talking about. Are you? There you are. Okay.
So yeah, I chose Ogmios, which is not listed, but it is a it's a Gaulish god of, well, oaths, I suppose.
Good way to
Alright.
put it. There is some warrior-related stuff, but he's definitely not the main warrior god.
Yeah.
Which that reminds me. Would you rather pick warrior or guardian? Just no context. What sounds better?
Probably warrior because there isn't much to guard.
That's fair, but like Guardian's normally with people or ideals type of thing.
Snap.
Hmm.
But yeah, okay, cool. So we're going on to callings and knacks, which are at the bottom in
We haven't
the
finished attributes.
we haven't finished attributes? Oh, that's unfinished.
David approach.
Oh yeah. You're absolutely correct. I always forget this step and put it at the very end. Okay, so does your character like to brute force their way through things? Finesse their way through things? Or kind of sit down and wait for the right moment to strike?
Weather the storm, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Resist.
Hmm. Damn, that's a good question. Uh, I think finesse, probably.
All right. Go
Yay,
ahead and
finesse
put
buddies!
We all have finesse. Yay.
Excellent.
I mean, honestly, in that case, I'm gonna go brute force
No,
because
no
I
buddies!
was weighing between brute force and finesse, and I mean, either one fits for
Mhm.
what I have in mind right now. I want to be
I'm-
different. I'm a
Okay.
special snowflake.
Okay.
Also, you're not the only warrior.
No.
No.
Nah.
But we'll get to the callings and stuff here right afterwards. Okay, go ahead and put 2 dots in each of the power attributes: intellect, might, and presence.
2 dots. Damn, that's a lot.
Each.
What the fuck?
Mhm.
I'm starting with 5 cunning and 5 dex.
Like when we were sitting there, the first time that I built these characters, because I played like a few rounds or a few games of Chronicles, and it's kind of like, okay, some people might have a 4 in a stat, most people have tops of 3, and then I built characters in this, and I had to go, yeah, no, these guys are chosen of gods. It makes sense for there to be like 3 4s and 2 5s or something.
I have 3 5s, 1 4.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some of this stuff can be pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I have 2 5s, 1 4, and several 3s.
I have 1 3, then... Oh, sorry, 2 3s, 1 2, and 2 1s.
So, that being said, we're going over to callings and necks. The reason why I asked you, did you want to pick warrior or guardian, is because, as I kind of briefly explained to you, Ogmios and Ogma have a lot of overlap, so I'm using Ogma as a basis here.
Yeah.
That being said, I'm going to give what's called the calling, which is kind of going to be the basis of most of your active abilities. The callings are going to be leader, sage, and warrior. To kind of go over those for a little bit real quick, if I can find the example. There we go. I didn't mean to click that one. Oh, I messed up that thing. I'll fix it later. No, I want that. Whatever. So to kind of explain them, leaders are kind of your kings, your queens, your CEOs, your inspirational speakers. Your sages are your intellectuals, your students, your teachers, wise peoples. And warriors, I would say, are pretty self explanatory. They help you fuck shit up. Which one of those sounds pretty neat? That being said, if you want, what this is going to do is this is going to give you your knacks. The knacks start on page 105. Those are the any knacks, so anyone can grab those. There's like, I'm trying to have you pick these without context because I'm so used to just breezing through stuff. Leaders is on page 109. Sage is on page 111, and then Warrior is on page 112. So okay. So like a leader ability could be that when you take charge of a group, for every 2 successes that you roll, all of the action, or you roll a skill, all of the actions go down by a minimum of 1 difficulty type of thing. Because unlike Chronicles, I'm going to have or tell you how many successes you need to roll, and then you have to beat that many successes type of thing. You could have an aura of menace.
Yeah.
That sounds neat.
That's the thing
Sounds
that's
familiar.
Yeah, there's a good listener. When you make conversations with an NPC, the character will reveal information or important detail that you're looking for if they know it. It's just kind of you tell me what you're seeking. You can have a grand entrance. When you make a first impression, rolled skill. On a success, the target remembers you and grants you a +1 success to all rolls made towards them, social rolls made towards them for the rest of the session. Yeah, or you have magical bonuses to being able to calm people the fuck down. Or you make it so that way you cannot be made afeared type of thing. Those are the leader ones in a nutshell. For Sage, you can regularly deflate arguments of hucksters and conmen with reason. God, that would be useful.
Indeed.
Okay. When in an area, you may define up to 3 points of bonuses to you or complications to opponents, or a combination of both, that are readily apparent to your perceptions, but not obvious to other observers. Type of thing, so that just gives you the ability to tell me that 3 things are in this scene, and those things are there. You have a mind palace. When you recall past events that you've experienced or studied, you're able to recall the details flawlessly.
And you turn into a Sherlock episode?
Okay. You know if you are near magic. That's one of the other sage abilities. Then with office hours, when someone approaches you with a problem that you can solve, they gain a bonus
Hello,
to
Girl of
resolve it
Diamond. Thank
themselves
you
if you
for
help
the
them work through a solution. That
bits.
also applies to your compatriots
Thank
there.
you so much. I hope you're having a lovely day.
And then you can
Also,
also
I see
just
that you're
have
here
me
for the
send
first time.
characters to you.
I'm doing very well, thank you.
Omniglot. I don't think I need to
I'm
define
talking
that
through
one.
my storyteller here right now.
Speak everything.
Yeah.
No one can complain about your pronunciation if you just speak all the languages at once.
Pretty
Exactly!
much.
Oh, that reminds me. There was this one Critical Role scene where someone used tongues, and the guy who portrayed like a German-esque accent just suddenly started speaking like his normal American accent. Like, why do you speak with an accent? I'm not speaking with an accent. I'm speaking like my language. Oh.
And then there's speed reading, which is I do research really quickly.
Good luck with
Those
your
are the
studying,
sage
Girl of
necks.
Diamond.
Warrior necks. We do have a warrior in the party.
I
but
have
death by-
the best ability. It's called Death by Teacup.
Yes, it is. Cheers for the hydrate.
I can give any improvised weapon the stats of an actual weapon.
Mhm.
Nice.
But there's also stuff.
I would say I still like my knack.
The
Like
knacks
yours
are
is great.
Yeah,
But mine has the best name.
that is
Death by
true.
Teacup is
I
pretty
I
good.
will say unobtrusive visitor is less catchy than Death by Teacup.
Death by Teacup.
It is definitely less catchy.
The only one that I think that no one has access to is the Trickster knack wasn't me, which is just shift consequences.
I'll be able to get that at some point. If
I
I get a second
You
calling.
will when we get to Hero.
honestly, I might want to go into that because one of my specialities for my skills is subterfuge. You don't want to know.
It's something to consider. But yeah, warriors is like you can make a show of force, which makes it so that way they have to attack you or suffer complications to attacking other people. You can make move rolls, death by teacup, which is fantastic. Master of weapons, etc. But you would have to pick one, which would be sage, leader, or warrior. Whichever one of those sounds pretty neat.
Excuse me.
I guess we're going warrior for me.
You're gonna also go warrior? Alright.
I think so.
Team fight.
Fine. Alrighty. Those knacks are on page 112. They're not sure if you wanted to sit there and go or have me go
Have to
through
be
those
getting
in
back
more
to
detail,
frying your
or just
brain.
kind of
Ooh,
read them and
good
explain
luck.
what they mean.
Good luck, Colonel Diamond. You can
I
do
might
this.
just go through those later on if that's all the same.
That works for me. And
Mm-hmm.
again, the any knacks are on page. So you don't have to pick those. None of those sound good. And since we haven't started, if the sage or leader ones sound better, I'll let you change it. Just like I
Yeah.
always good about it before the
I
meeting
feel like
session
I
starts.
need to give this a lot more thought and stuff, or if I have the time, I will give it more thought.
Absolutely.
Thank you for
And
those
then again, if
bits.
anyone needs me between
Really
different
appreciate
things, I
that,
can
and
always
good
hop
luck.
on a call
Good
and kind
luck.
of explain things.
You can
to
do
make that
this.
part
You can do the
easier
thing.
as necessary. Okay. And then I think so. Whenever we get through that, take your time with that.
Mm-hmm.
We can go on to finishing touches. So, here's where it kind of gets a bit muddy in regards to character creation. The finishing
Okay.
touches, you get 5 extra skill dots, which can go into any skills that you want.
Oh, right, yes.
Mhm.
I have done this already, by the way, just so you know.
You get 1
And I say this to
additional
people in
attribute
chat,
point.
not my Discord.
And then we'll, after you've decided that, we can go forward to figuring out defense and health, which I think your health is good. Yeah. Oh, my neck.
Sorry about that.
Oh, you're fine.
I knocked against my mic.
I do that all the time.
Mm-hmm. Tis something annoying.
My mic is hiding behind my monitors.
Mm.
My mic's attached to my face.
I there is one attached to my to my face as well. The one that I use for Discord. Then I have my condenser mic supposedly hanging in front of me. But for some reason my hands just want to smack it.
I did
It's
that.
there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. So, if you've picked your skills and your extra attribute point, where they go, because they can go anywhere.
Wait, so it's 1 extra attribute point anywhere, and
Yep.
what did you say for skills?
5
5.
extra skill points.
Yikes.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
And it can be in anything. So you can bump up some of those higher, you can bump up all the ones that you have a little bit higher, or you could just say screw it and put 5 in athletics. Okay. Excuse me.
No worries.
Yeah, I think I'm done with that.
Okay.
So, Alvarans,
Yes.
any ideas for what kind of equipment I might be able to use from either the libraries I fix at or the soup kitchen that I frequent?
So like general equipment or a special thing that you'd be able to have interest to?
Yeah, like for instance with the Gramps buddies, They have the fortress, the van.
Okay. In regards to the library, the first thing that comes to mind is some form of esoteric knowledge.
Yeah, I'm thinking like an archive.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
an archive about a specific type of topic or something.
Okay.
Because even if it's not something that you're necessarily skilled in regards to a cult or something, one of your friends might be more skilled in it. So then you
Yeah.
can take them there and then they can help out in regards to it.
Yep.
The soup kitchen is a tough one.
Mm-hmm. So the soup kitchen is also like run by an adherent of Inari, I would say,
You want it to be ran by an Okay, cool. Yeah, no worries.
because that is my connection to the kami. Beyond like the coin and my family stuff.
Gosh, the difficult part about Inari is Inari's so freaking broad.
Right. But
What do you
there's
do, Inari?
foxes.
Yes.
What? I
Like,
think.
what do you do, Inari? Could you specify your question?
No, the answer is just yes.
Well, the answer is yes, but
Yeah.
it doesn't really help, does it?
What do you mean? What do I do for whom or for what? Just in general. I can't answer this question.
Or according to Averdal...
How many days do you have for me to explain?
Mm-hmm. Or according to Averdal, Rice controls everything.
Right,
Well,
man.
it's part of the beauty in regards to it. Okay, so because I was like, I'm gonna sit down and try to think a little bit far ahead because after Deviant, I do want to go to a Scion game, and since we're doing this already, and maybe we decide that we want to do this more than Deviant, we'll keep going. So I looked up stuff for Sung Wukong, I looked up stuff for Ogmios, I looked up stuff for Inari. And the thing is that Inari's not a rice goddess. She's they're a prosperity god. And so their purviews, the things that they've been in control of, has changed throughout time in addition to their appearance, which is part of the reason why Inari has a very fluid appearance. Inari was originally a rice goddess, and then when Japan switched to more metallurgy, they became a blacksmith god. And so technically, the quote-unquote purest form of prosperity would probably be some type of high-end, well-tailored suit-wearing individual with foxtails. An ungodly amount of foxtails.
With an acronym for job title. Yeah.
But Inari, because Inari through Japanese history became a very personal god, Inari's got so many different forms, and that's me being. I'm good.
Do you need a
Hence
juice
why
box?
the answer is yes.
Yep.
Cult is 3. Oh, okay. You put stuff in persuasion. Okay. That being said.
Yeah, I was going to ask, like, if these extra dots push a skill up over 3, do we put a specialization in it, or is that just for the first one?
Nope, you get to put a specialization in it.
Alright.
Okay.
Would you say that compromising or compromising sounds the closest to deals and oaths?
That could be one.
I mean, compromising is what, like, the Dutch culture of business has been built upon. It's called the Polder model. We compromise until there's nothing to compromise about left.
No, I'd sit there and I'd go with that.
And also, I was gonna ask about for leadership, what would manage individuals entail?
delegation type of thing. It would be like, okay, so using the people here, I'm just gonna pull up everyone's sheets real quick so I can take a look through them. So taking a look. No, I want that open. Managing individuals would probably be like, okay, so
You know what people are good at and how to use
Hmm.
them.
yeah.
That's good.
Virginia, you are very good at hiding. You're going to sit there and go sneak in regards to this. Lou, why don't you go cause a distraction type of thing? That would be like managing individuals leaning into their strengths.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas with my specialty in leadership, if I were to sneak in somewhere, I could tell like an entire group of people, like, hey, I need a distraction. Do you remember flash mobs?
And with my 1 dot in leadership, I can go, hey guys, what's up?
Exactly.
Another thing that you could use leadership for is calling on some of your druid buddies and be like, hey, I need you guys to find stuff out about this. Would you please help me? Type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than, okay, if they don't, like, rather than trying to say, handle it yourself, because maybe handling it yourself is not the best use of your time. Druid buddies, please go tell me how to kill a Hydra. There's one attacking the city right now.
Liz.
But yeah. Excellent. And then with that stuff in mind, so your defense, so we'll just write that in notes. We'll just put defense equals one of your resolve stat or resilience stats. So stamina, resolve, or composure. And generally,
One's big dots.
yeah. Well, you could have less dots in one if you want. I mean, I don't know why you
No.
would, but you could.
Mm-hmm.
No.
And then your character's movements is your athletics plus the higher of your might or dexterity. So for you, that would be 5.
Nice.
But really, that's only going to come up in foot chases, so.
I am very fast again.
Yay!
You said movement was what plus physical?
Athletics plus either might or dex.
Whichever's bigger.
What's your movement, Yusrith?
9.
9. Ah, darn it, I'm just a tad slower.
I am a lot slower.
It's fine.
My movement is 8, my defense is
I will
3.
catch things and I will catch things and keep them still so that you can catch up with them and kick the
Aw.
shit out of them.
Nice, thank
Yeah.
you.
I don't think I'm gonna be that dangerous, right?
And
You don't
to be
know.
fair, you have a pool of 9 things for beating people up.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry about it.
I have every random miscellaneous object in the room, so
We're fine. We're good. Now for the last bits of finishing touches, what you can do is you can grab 2 more knacks. And the reason why I would necessarily advise against grabbing more knacks is because you can only use 1 knack for an entire session.
Mm-hmm.
So if you grabbed one of the other warrior ones, you'd still have to pick which one that you're using, type
Yeah.
of thing. And you're locked into that until the end of the session.
Yeah.
Or in Scion Hero, there's things that are called birthrights. And what we do is we have 4 points to spread among various birthrights.
And
Generally, go ahead.
these are in the book Hero, but we can use them as origin character, like pre-visitation characters? Okay.
Yep.
That's
The
why
reason
we've done this already.
Yeah, the reason why, like, for example, we based we nerfed the cloud walking boots to a 1 dot thing because you don't have legend to spend on what I based the cloud walking boots on, which would be the anchoring
Right.
links. But so generally speaking, if I was being a bit more strict in regards to it, it'd be like, nah, you got to deal with this until you get legend anyway. But I want us to have fun, but not be sticklers for the rules.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
But to kind of give an explanation of what birthrights can be, a birthright can be an animal. So if you want a manticore again, we can have that. A birthright can be followers, which is just groups of people. A birthright can be a guide, which is somebody from that's a creature that is tied to a pantheon. Everything from a crow of the Morrigan to gods themselves can be a guide. And they teach, they're just there to teach you and to give you access to other things. And then the last one is relic. I don't think Mjolnir is 4 dots, but you could have Mjolnir as a relic type of thing.
And for me, I've picked a guide, the Kitsune, allowing me to help with more subterfuge.
I think we just kind of buffed up the satyr for that, if I recall correctly.
Yes, we did. The ability of the Kitsune, as we've written it, is if I try and convince someone I'm another person, I will start to look like that person.
And
If you succeed.
If I succeed.
I have the relic, as was mentioned earlier, the cloud walking boots, which at this point just let me walk on walls. And a creature who is a rock dog lion.
Yeah, it's one of those temple dogs, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, the Fu lions.
Yes.
That's
Excellent.
Boy.
Now,
I am going to try to refrain from having more creatures because I'm always drawn to that, and I will try to do something different with my life for once.
that being said, these do not have to be tied to your pantheon.
Yeah.
It's just that's the theme that everyone wanted to go with, and it's like, that's fine. I'm just making sure you guys know.
I thought it'd be neat.
Also, would
It is
these guides, would they like be actual characters?
Yes.
Neat.
So where do we find birthrights? Was that in Hero?
Birthrights are in Hero. They start on page 201 with creatures. And then followers is on 203, and guides start on 205. And if something just doesn't seem right, we can build a relic. They're relatively easy to make.
Where did you get the
Crafting is-
cloud walking boots from, Gistrith?
A nerfed version of the Icarian wings.
Averdal mentions Neja?
Oh, I actually got it from the Legend of Sun Wukong.
Yeah,
Nice. Okay, yeah.
It's
they
part of the
are.
outfit he's given by the dragon thing.
That is cool.
In addition to his staff, yeah, he's like, I want these boots and I want this staff and I want this. Thanks, bye. And the dragon's like, no, go to hell. And he's like, okay, I'll just erase my name from the book.
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah.
And we had
4 dots.
4 dots for that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. My stone lion friend is a 3-dot creature.
To kind of sit there and explain it, if especially if you're getting to guides, for example, it'll say guide stunt successes X type or X successes type of thing. Generally, what that means is you need successes equal to that amount, and then over the difficulty threshold, and then you can buy that ability type of thing. So
You can
with
say, like, this also happens.
So in regards to the lying thing, I would say that that's probably a base difficulty of 2 to try to convince someone that you're actually supposed to be where you're not supposed to be. And so it would take an additional 3 successes to start transforming into them, type of thing.
Hmm.
So you need 5 successes total. That just means that it might make it easier for the successes or something like that, or for future aspects to it, but yeah. And that's when you roll one of their asset skills, type of thing. And Knuckles. Which is, go ahead.
I have a question and possibly a follow-up question.
I may have an answer and a follow-up one.
Huzzah! So, question I have is: we start out with the 4 points in birthrights if we so choose, instead of the knacks. Is it possible throughout the game to get more birthright points?
To get more, so here's my base understanding of things right now.
Birthright points cost 5 experience.
So, that being said,
yes,
you can say through, like, you can start buying stuff through, like, legend, or for followers based on legend and other things for the 5 experience. You, unfortunately, it would be very difficult for origin and hero tier characters to make stuff, but you can make relics. Or if there's something that you guys really want, you might have to convince one of the Durgar to make something for you, type of thing. And rather than you making it, I would have you guys go forward and gather the materials for the things that you would need, and then maybe do a favor for the dwarf. Type of thing.
The follow-up question that I have then...
That gives us plot.
Sorry, could you repeat that, Kisrith?
That gives us some plot.
Yeah, that's true. The follow-up question that I have specifically is, would it be possible to evolve a relic?
You want to put more points into it? I don't see why not.
Okay.
You might have to take some time and figure out what it does or how it changes, but yeah.
Stomkins asks, is this Pokemon?
I mean, we do have a stone lion dog.
Yeah, it's a rock type. Tisu and Growlithe.
I think the rock dog is dual type, rock and good boy.
I mean, Tisu and Growlithe is like kind of based on the thing.
Yeah.
But it's also fire type, and I don't think my boy does fire.
No, your dog glares.
Oh no.
He has mean luck.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I cannot run.
Cannot hide.
Pretty much. But yeah. If people have questions about other things that some of the birthrights can do, I'm more than happy to answer. I understand that it is a lot to digest.
Yeah.
Since there's 4 different types, type of thing. But yeah.
Yeah, I think I need quite a lot of time to read through the relics and stuff, birthrights.
Well, I shouldn't need to use them today, right?
Nah, we don't need to use them today, type of thing. But yeah. With the exception of knacks and building a relic or grabbing some other stuff, that's about it. That's character creation in a nutshell. pretty certain. Double checking. We did finishing touches, callings and acts, attributes, favorite approach, skills,
Virtues.
paths, concepts. Was that?
Virtues.
Oh yes, virtues. Thank you.
That is actually a good question because I was wondering what that was again.
No worries. Okay.
For me, it's yin and yang, so it's really easy.
Yeah, it is really easy. So the virtues for the Nementon, because I have them pulled up right now, is on one box there's memory, and on the other box it is purgation. That's an interesting word.
What was the second word?
Purgation. Purgation.
Purification, basically.
Pretty much.
You're gonna have to write it out because I.
No worries. Let me
Just write it as
grab this.
purification so that it's less confusing in future.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Sure.
Because it literally means the same thing.
Fair enough.
Hello,
but
Ordinary
to
Clover OC.
explain
This
virtues-
stream
okay,
right
so
now is working
we're gonna
on
go over
making
some different
characters
some
for
different mechanics
Scion.
between the two different systems.
Hello.
So while you may have a difficulty threshold, the equivalent to willpower in this game is called momentum. And what it is momentum. We're going to start with a shared pool, and if that ends up not working out, we're going to go to singular individual pools.
Okay.
But since there's 3 players right now, the momentum pool is 6. And since it is a shared pool, people can say, I want to spend 3 points of momentum. Which can be for knack skills, could be for guide stuff, could be for whatever it is that you need. Or it could be to add dice to a dice pool type of thing. With virtues, when you act in accordance with a virtue, when you make a roll in regards to that, you lean a little bit more towards that virtue, which is what that track there is for. When you lean a little bit more to the virtue, every time that you act in accordance with that virtue, your momentum bonus is doubled, type of thing. So if you were like, I'm going to, if you were Min, if you specifically were like, I want to get this story down for the purpose of memory, and you had one thing for memory, and you're like, I want to spend 2 dots of momentum. As long as everyone was okay with that, you'd roll 4 extra dice. Type of thing. The issue is when you, and this isn't going to be as intense with origin level characters. It does get more intense as you kind of go up in the tiers. If you are all the way over, say, on the memory side of things, you're trying to remember everything. It kind of embodies an aspect of your character. You get the virtuous condition. And the only way to shed that is to intentionally and purposefully act on your other virtue. So purification, letting go of some of those memories type of thing, or the need to hoard that memory.
Like what I'm a little bit confused about, like for the Kami, the virtues are sincerity and the right action.
Mm-hmm.
And
sometimes lying is the right thing to do.
I see. Okay, that's a very good example. Oh, this is going to be difficult for me.
That's fine.
Interesting.
But yeah, no, like if Lou went full Yang, then he'd have to eventually be at some point where he acts submissive, I believe is what Yin is, type of thing. And it's stuff along those lines. But
I have to do my best to do what the man tells me to do.
Oh dear.
That man does not have to be capital T, capital M, the man, but it might just be like sitting down with your
it's a metaphorical the man.
Yeah.
Hey, the man. Indeed.
But yeah, that is the thing about virtues. Also, if you fail a roll, you gain momentum. You can botch a roll. So we will be highlighting things if you get no successes on a roll. Because if you get a 1 on one of those dice, that is considered a botch, which means that you take a complication, like a persistent complication, but you get more momentum for botched rolls.
Ooh.
So, type of thing. But yeah, so go ahead, feel free to spend momentum. It's a shared pool, so just make sure people are cool with it. But yeah. They're still the same basic equipment bonuses, but those are called enhancement bonuses in this one, and rather than giving you more dice, they just add successes.
Ooh. That's good.
When I add a complication, so to give an explanation of an act, all of you will be able to do this pretty well because you all have at least some form of physical stuff. Oh, okay. I guess fine, be that way. Stream.
What?
Oh, my channel that I was having the books on, just in case, closed.
Oh, dear.
It's fine.
Fair enough.
Where was I? Complications, right? So, like, if I said, okay, scaling this fence quickly is a difficulty 2 task. There's a complication, however, the top is covered in barbed wire. If you roll your dice and you get 2 successes, you still complete the task. You still hop the fence. But you're injured because you did not get enough successes to overcome the complication. Type of
Makes
thing.
sense.
Which in this case is
your armor some of the barbed wire on top.
Yeah.
Type of thing. But yeah. Certain things that, maybe you wanna compose a poem while fighting somebody. There's this thing called mixed actions. We'll figure out the dice pools for both. You'll use the lower of the pools, and then we'll figure out the difficulty for both. If you only get enough to overcome the difficulty of one of the things, then you pick which one that you do, type of thing. It's not a failed roll type of thing. So maybe you're like, I want to compose an epic poem while I punch this guy in the face, but you only get enough successes to compose the poem or punch the guy in the face. And so you might instead go, maybe I should just focus on punching this guy in the face.
Maybe. Or focus on the poem.
Maybe. I don't know. Do what you want.
I don't know your life.
Exactly. But yeah. That's the general major differences of the mechanics. It's still roll pools of d10, successes on 8, 9s, and 10s. As we go up in tiers, I see a puppo. As we go up in tiers, the success threshold does get lower. I believe gods succeed on 6s and higher, depending on their legend type of that. So, there are a couple of things to notice with scale. Scale is kind of a thing that gives you an enhancement bonus based on different factors. Like, if you're in a foot race with a car, the car is going to have scale on you. You cannot outrun a car most of the time.
I'll do my best.
Size is another form of scale. Obviously, a Jotun's going to be much bigger and hit much harder than a regular person. Scale can also be affected in the types of weapons that you have. A rocket launcher is probably going to be a bit more size of scale than a pistol type of thing. But that's just different forms of scale. I think just kind of going forward, looking at rolling, talked about complications. The speed is mostly going to be used for races or for trying to outrun things. We're going to use range tables. I'm actually having Michi make me a transparent target, so that way we can use that for simplicity's sake.
Nice.
We don't use marvels or fate bindings. Weapons are going to do different things. So yeah, cool. So that is most of the stuff on there. Yeah. Okay. Excellent. For some people that are watching that just might want some other aspects or insight into the world, and then I can kind of briefly go over before we'll call today kind of the first little story seed to see how well it fits for people. Since I talked to some of you in private, everyone seems on board with being in London.
Little bit closer to home than Washington State.
Well, I mean, I'm in Washington State, so I don't know what you're talking. I'm kidding.
It's a place I've been.
It's a place I've
Same,
been as
actually.
well.
Yeah.
It's a place I haven't. So,
Good luck,
but
storyteller.
as with Deviant, if you guys want to fix my stuff on things, go for it. I'm not gonna hold it against you.
If you can
Um,
think of something, London probably has it.
Yeah.
it's a major metropolitan area.
Mhm.
Like we pointed out last time we had to talk about this, it does have a Japanese garden, at least 5.
Indeed.
Some people might be wondering if this is an area where gods exist and there's problems, why don't the gods intervene?
They follow us.
Gods are kind of, they have strict rules type of thing. In the sense of this that I mean is that you have things that are you have capital F fate. And what fate is the strings that the world ties to gods in exchange for gods being what they are, type of thing. An example that I've used is, especially in modern days, if Odin comes down to um, a city and is giving out money or food to the needy, maybe Odin's feeling generous that day. I don't know. I'm not Odin. But if that gets recorded and posted onto the internet, now Odin has to be generous. It becomes part of who Odin is.
If it's
Go
believed
ahead.
widely enough about him, then it becomes part of him.
Mhm. So the way that the gods influence the world is through scions, which is what we are. Is through incarnations, which is just manifestations of a god that comes down. Uh, I'm not going to tell you that Tom Hiddleston is a scion of Loki. Of Loki. I'm just saying it's rude to ask someone if they're a god. They also have saints or creatures type of thing, like using Odin again. Hugin and Munin might be taking a look around and being like, "Hey, maybe we want to do something about this," and then yeah. This is without getting into mantles and stuff, because that's fun, but that's definitely supernatural metaphysics stuff that's difficult to explain. But that's generally where they stand. But with that being said, and Nether saw this idea, and I think I'm kind of going to go with it. The first story seed that I have, and we could talk about some characters, how you guys might know each other from beforehand, especially because um, you're, since two of you are either lower income or work with the homeless, we could just figure that out on why you guys might be together. But the first story seed that I had was so the oldest, what's the word that I'm thinking of? The oldest recorded name is one of them is Ea Nasir.
Yes.
And the reason why he's known is because he sold bad copper. Low quality, never on time, bad copper.
Was rude to servants.
Just a general asshole. And so, the first story seed that I have, and obviously we'll go through like big character introductions, kind of get a feel for the characters type of thing. The first story seed that I have is someone who's been a customer of Aenasir's throughout many lifetimes comes to you guys for help.
Oh no. I feel for him already. Or her, or them.
Because this is a world where many faiths have reincarnation.
No,
So-
Everdol, we do not stand Aenasir. We do not. We stand
I stand-
anti-Aenasir.
Why
I
would we
stand
stand someone
historical
who was being
records.
the servant?
Why do we stand the guy that probably went capitalism sounds like a good idea.
No.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
No.
He
But
deserves
that
to be dead
is
thousands of years ago.
Mhm.
Anyway.
but the reason why I tell you this this now rather than just kind of throwing you in regards to it is because one, I feel that it's polite, and the way that I like to GM is to have a more transparent relationship with my players. But the other thing is because deeds are this system's aspirations, and one of these deeds is a band deed. So that would be something that you three,
We're getting the band
Decide on.
together.
yeah.
That actually reminds me of a fantasy book I read
Mm-hmm.
recently, Kings of the Wild, where
heard of
mercenary
it.
bands are basically rock bands,
Oh, that is
sounds
cool.
awesome.
and they're getting the band together for another tour.
Nice.
Makes sense.
That is fun.
It's actually a really good book.
Can you type the title in chat? I wanna see.
Absolutely, will do. I'll type
Thank
it in
you.
general.
Thank you.
But that's
Hey, it's a Wild of the Y.
yes. That's a sidetrack. Sorry.
No worries. I
You're
curious to
valid.
learn about it.
Um,
Let's see. I thought I was going to say something, but I might get it back.
to give you guys kind of an example of what difficulties, since you guys are origin level characters, that you might be facing. You probably aren't going to have many things that are above difficulty 3. Because difficulty 1 for like saying outrunning somebody is like a foot chase.
Mm-hmm.
Difficulty 2 is running away from a cop that's probably in a car. Difficulty 3 is avoiding a Difficulty 3 is avoiding a coordinated search. Difficulty 4 is outrunning the wild hunt.
Oh,
That's
That's a bit of a jump.
that feels like a bit of a jump. Yeah.
And difficulty 5 is running away and hiding from one of the Furies.
Yeah.
Yeah, that escalated quickly.
The fairies don't fuck around.
No.
It's like running away from the wild hunt. That's impossible. Running away from a fury. Wait, no, that's impossible.
Oh no, we found something more impossible.
Are like infinities, are there different types of impossible?
Yes.
It
I
seems that
see.
way, yeah.
I see.
Yes.
I see.
But that's just an example of some of the difficulty thresholds. Now, obviously, some complications might happen. So, like, outrunning the cops while being fired upon by a gang, that might be something like 4, because you have 2 coordinated groups coming against you type of thing. But,
That is definitely a thing you do not want to be in the middle of.
Yeah.
right.
Sorry,
But-
of which you do not want to be in the middle.
But that's just an example type of thing. So, given the fact that you guys are origin level characters, which is Mortal Plus, I am not expecting a whole lot of, difficulty 4 and difficulty 5 doing feats of legend type of thing on a regular basis.
I
Maybe
mean, we
one or
can
two.
hope.
Maybe 1 or 2.
We can dream.
But yeah. Is there any questions?
Last one to do
Oh,
a feat of legends, rotten egg.
add it to your titles. But yeah, if anyone had any questions or anything like that, open to chats as well if they want to sit there and ask me things about the system or.
I'll probably have lots of questions. If not now, then for sure when we actually start playing. Because
Absolutely.
One of the things that I'm curious about,
Mhm.
and this goes for everyone, I think. Well, yeah. Would we know each other prior to starting? Like, would our characters be familiar with each other?
At minimum, you know of each other.
Okay.
Mostly because I think the person who might be tied the least to supernatural phenomena is Lou, despite having a stone dog follow them around.
Like, he's,
Go
it
ahead.
just showed up one day, alright?
That's
He has no idea why it's there, just keeps following him around.
cute.
He gave it a name because, like, he was fed up referring to it as the stone dog.
But even with that in mind, Lou is a prodigious martial artist.
Mm-hmm.
Virginia works or has worked with monster hunters in addition to maybe not being the center of a pillar, but helping a pillar of those that are in need.
Mm-hmm.
And literally, I don't know if you're going to stick with this name, so I'm just going to say Min's character. Literally, Min's character walked out of Terra Incognita one day.
As for what style, Averdal, I am I'm more of a ranged combatant. I have points in firearms and I've none in close combat.
As for my character's combat style, have you seen a Jackie Chan fight scene? That's the character.
I love this.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Also really fits the death by teacup knack.
Yes.
I love that.
I will not hold on to the same item for more than like 2 rounds.
Chinese opera, according to Averdal.
Yes.
Wuxia, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
That's what the boots
I
are for. The boots are for Wuxia.
Oh yeah.
I will not hold on to the same weapon for more than like 2 rounds. I will say I'm sorry a lot. Yeah, I will, as I said to
Amazing.
Alvarez once, throw a pillar with all the strength of an angry brick.
An
that sort of thing.
angry brick.
Yes.
I just counted from notes that I was given. It's a minimum of 5 styles, with a dabbling in other ones.
Yes.
In the case of Lou.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I think I wrote down the style somewhere.
You did. I have them.
Amazing.
But yeah.
It's, Kung Fu, Tai Chi, Wing Chun, a little bit of Shaolin, Karate, and Judo.
And for me, I like Virginia just goes, I learned to shoot from my grandpa. Probably in the time before handguns were completely prohibited.
That's something to sit there and think about because
you can have licenses for guns.
You can.
Yeah.
It's just very tricky.
Because if they're open, I would assume that as long as it's heavily regulated and a lot of the other things are funded, I think that the government organization would license some groups of monster hunters for handguns.
Yeah, like I'm only loosely affiliated with them. I am not officially part of that anymore, I think.
That's up to you. But regardless on how tightly or how loosely you are
Mhm.
affiliated with it, it would be something that you would have learned. And it
Oh yeah.
would be something that if the government goes, yeah, it makes sense for some monster hunters to have handguns, that would be something that you would have access to
Okay.
due to your path.
All right then. Yeah, because otherwise
But
I
yeah.
was just thinking like I'm just going to borrow everything from the path. They'll get upset.
If you
That
want a
being,
melee weapon, I know some guys.
I have no points in close combat.
someone that might want a melee weapon. But I know that there's some suggestions, like on the sheet there's 3 short deeds, a long deed, and a banned deed.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that the thing that I'm mostly focused on is the banned deed because that lets me know
Mm-hmm.
where you guys want to go in as a group.
Yeah, I would like to be like I would like to know how my character is tied into like beating the shit out of this ANSR XP.
However that you want this, like, to be perfectly honest, you're a fixer, right?
Yeah.
You work with people who are taken advantage of. For all I know, Nanny, I believe that was their name,
Mhm.
came forward and was like, "Look, I heard that you help people.
Okay.
I need help with this type
I'm
of thing."
I'm absolutely fine with that like that origin. Um then like
This is stuff that would be played out type of thing.
okay,
Like, it's
okay.
just kind of, yeah.
For that I would like to know like what is it about Lou and Min's character that draws me to them to contact them for their help if we were
Lu's
to go this
probably been
route.
to the soup kitchen once or twice, so you might have
That's
spoken to him there
that's
and
fair.
know that he's a martial artist.
There we go. That's one thing.
So you are at least aware of him and possibly his skills. And you might have seen Garnet at least once.
What
Garnet
was
the dog.
what was the name again?
Garn.
Garn. Garn or
Gan.
Jan Gun. Okay.
Yes.
So
believe
hey
he's
Sunbury. But that's cool. Yeah. Virginia would I would like to roll for that in game for the pet the doggo compulsion.
And you were saying, Min?
No, I was just saying that well, I mean, my character would be associated with a druidic circle, so I don't know if maybe they also want to contribute to said soup kitchen.
That's a
Ooh.
possibility.
Do they provide like ingredients and stuff?
That is
Yeah.
awesome. Like
And
I just know like we get the freshest vegetables from
Yeah.
this group. Like otherwise it's all like out of date stuff that can't be
all
sold
the
but is
stuff
still
that's just
good.
random. Yeah, all stuff that shops donate when they can't sell it anymore.
Yeah. And from you
Strangely quickly transported from Wales to
Yeah,
London.
somehow.
and
Somehow,
like
magic.
your stuff is just like beyond high-end restaurant quality.
Yeah.
I like
other end
this.
of
I
it?
like this. Yes.
Yeah, but the other end of it that I was going to go about was depending on how secret that Min wanted that character's particular return to be, given the state of the Nemintendevas at the moment. The Druid Circle could know the Hunter's Circle.
Oh. Yes. They might
That might be why you work at the soup kitchen. It's like, all right, you don't want to sit there and do that. Well, these guys help in regards to this. You want to sit there and help
I'll be
that?
back
You
in
know,
a
like,
sec.
absolutely.
Would one or more of the druids be part of the hunter cell?
I don't think so.
No, okay.
Not directly.
Not directly, okay.
That being said, the hunter cell might be all like, hey, we've got this particular type of thing that we're trying to hunt. Do you got any information on that? And the Druid Circle would be like, oh yeah, sure. What are they doing? being like, are they just being a general nuisance, or are they actually harming people type of thing?
Yep, yep.
Because if it's the former, then it's like, okay, here's what you're going to want to trap them. Whereas if it's the latter, it's like, this might be what you want to hurt them.
Yes, okay. That's fair. And what kind of skills does your character have, Min?
Well, basically a bunch of dots in close combat, with a
Okay.
specialization in melee weapons.
Okay. So my character...
Decent integrity, leadership, occult persuasion, and survival, as well as some culture and empathy.
Would you have also been at the soup kitchen, like beyond having ties to the Druid Circle and the logistics?
I don't see my character as coming there as someone who needs it, particularly because they're pretty self-sufficient, I think. With
That is absolutely fair. But more like, would your character have personally come to the soup kitchen to deliver things, so that we would have gotten in touch?
Yeah, I mean, if nothing else, because I
can
see my character using Terra Incognita as a means to travel.
Yeah.
You're like the primary contact for the druids to the soup kitchen.
And I also think that, I mean, as much as my character now belongs with this druidic circle, I imagine he's perhaps a little bit of the odd one out, because I think maybe druids are a little bit more peaceful than my character is.
Fair.
There's that, and then there's also the fact of being put on a pedestal.
Yeah, that too. I don't quite belong there. It's nice to get away.
That's absolutely fair.
It's just the closest thing I have to what's been lost, I guess.
Yeah, that does give me like an idea of, okay, if I'm being approached by someone who needs help, why am I going to the both of you? So that will help me, and given my style of play and style of DMing, I will probably be able to improvise beyond that. But yeah, this is good if we were to go that route. Yeah.
All right.
So is like the band deed, is that like finish the plot hook, or?
The band deed could be finish the plot hook. The band deed could be how you guys decide that you want to finish the plot hook, like beat the shit out of Aya Nasir. That could be the band deed. I don't know if you'd pick that. The other ones might be investigate what it is.
The gang doesn't anti-capitalism.
It might be just simply try to get Nani's money back. However you guys want to go about it. It also gives me an idea of how this allows you guys to kind of go forward as a group and kind of decide on parts and themes of the game. Because like if everyone agrees, beat the shit out of the guy, then it's like, okay, I can make it a more combat oriented thing, or more of a, like rough and tumble, the new guys come into town type of thing. Right. Whereas if it's an investigative related problem, then there's that. But yeah, that's the general band related thing.
Right. I think Virginia would want more to go about getting the money back.
Yeah.
Like solving the issue is making sure that Nani gets compensated. Absolutely happy to go with beating the shit out of Aya Nasir, but that is not really how Virginia operates by herself.
Right. Okay.
I think regardless of whether we beat him up or not, we're gonna be trying to get the money back.
Okay.
I mean, I can go places, even without Terra Incognita. So.
All right. I will type that out. But yeah,
Spell the guy's name.
I will grab that and put that in general.
No, the other one.
The other one?
Oh,
Oh,
we're getting money back for.
yeah, that is. At
Nani?
least I'm pretty certain. Yeah. All right. But with that in mind, we just go over at anyone's convenience. Everyone can get a hold of me with relative ease. Connections, knacks, relics. I would like one short-term deed. You don't need to have all three. And then the long-term deed is kind of like something that you want your character specifically to aim for that can be done in a session or two. Because I know that, Min, you and I kind of have a discussion of the big long-term goal type of thing, but
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
the
Get the
band
wheel
deed,
rolling again.
pretty much.
All right.
And then the band deed is the ones that you guys decided on. So just yeah, at least one short-term one, and then a long-term one for your specific characters, connections, and knacks. I think that's about it. I need to make some notes for myself to read into things since somebody has a guide and I need to do research into Kitsune. But yeah, that's generally about it when it comes to character creation. So
Excellent.
people need to head on out. That's all that I've got. Thank you guys for accompanying me today and hammering out some character stuff. And yeah, I'll catch you guys when I catch you guys.
Thank you
Hopefully.
very much for explaining and like helping us with our characters.
Yeah, of course. It is my goal eventually, if I get more time, especially to kind of just run one-shots and stuff for people for new systems, because I like this part of it and to do like character creation things.
It's fun.
I want to do something similar, but I just need to build up that bravery for
It's also, I guess,
new character,
helps to explain the
new
system
campaigns,
a bit
new systems.
to,
Yeah,
to people watching
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah,
before we just jump right into it.
Mhm. Yeah, this one is a bit more complicated, but once it actually gets into play, it's easier. Deviant was very similar, but
Yeah.
So, given that this isn't an official session, I'm not gonna bother with major farewell since it is a session 0. Y'all know who we are. Most of our names are at the bottom of the screen at some point. So,
Yep.
Yeah.
you guys have a wonderful rest of your nights.
You
Bye-bye.
too. I'm gonna mute myself for a bit as I wrap up here.
I
In a
know,
bit.
chat.
Bye-bye.
We will indeed get a private goodbye. But thank you all so much for hanging out and staying and sticking around and just being good beans. I appreciate that. I loved that there was so many like questions and explanation. I am very curious how this is going to run out. Goodbye just for you. Yes. Well, I think you have to share this goodbye with Stamke and Stenfludis and Averdal and everyone who's been here. These are the people that I see. And Alvarez, of course, who's been in chat. And beyond that, thank you, Bergammeow, for being here. Ordinary Clover for hanging out and saying hi. We had A in chat. We had Girl of Diamond. We had a lot of people here. Like, I think this is my most viewed live stream ever. Like, what? That's scary. No, that's the wrong one. Oh, yeah. I should use this more. I should. Anyway, I believe that while she is taking a break at the moment, Gamesy is going to stream a little bit longer with her Mass Effect playthrough. So, I'm going to try and see what is going to be up there. First of all, let me shout out Gamesy. A cute little clip.
Excuse me. Yeah. So, look at the bean. Look at the Daspith bean.
He was
This is
definitely.
an innocent bean. No guilt. Only innocent. Scientifically proven. Innocent.
Gamesy is adorable. I should also shout out some other people who have
Good to see
been
you.
good beans.
Are you certain whatever you're doing is worth it?
Not anymore. Hey, buddy.
Oh no, this one.
How are you doing?
Oh, I'm
How's it feel being
sorry.
the title creature of a game? Doing good? You're a chump. Yeah, you really.
The boy's tales passed through generations until it became legend. But then a day came when a fell wind began to blow across the kingdom. The great evil that all thought had been forever seen.
Oh, why does...
She just doesn't even care. She's like, all right. I think hoof is the same as place, yard. Fair enough.
This one says, Denise died surrounded by her loved ones in a fire.
Oh, Little Misfortune is
No.
terrible.
Nah.
I've heard really good
Do
good
sprinkle
things, but
some-
also really bad things. Yeah, that game is dark. My goodness. So, as we are here, let me actually get into some like slight announcement things. My next stream will be tomorrow. It will be a prep stream. It will be a recap stream of my Monday game because my goodness, that was interesting. We had some stuff going on. So recap for 10 treasures, and spoilers, my players found one of the treasures. So that's next stream on Wednesday, and then hopefully, with the way things are going, I should be able to do another Sakuna stream, because like last week was just a lot of stuff going on at the same time. Had to prep some stuff for the weekend as well. People getting sick. Schedules needed to be reshuffled. So yeah, that was hot. And hopefully this week will be a little less strenuous. So yeah, that's schedules are the bane of any dungeon master's existence, any storyteller. It is terrible. But off stream also, there is going to be another D&D game on Saturday. We're going to play Aether Peak again. I'm so excited. I am very excited for that. So yeah. I see Gamesy is still not back from break. Do you think I should just raid into the break? Or should we wait? What do you think? Because I kind of want to see her reaction. Wait. Yeah, I hope that we get some stuff, because currently she's just doing some she's doing some shoutouts. I should do some shoutouts. Who haven't I shouted out yet? Anyone that I yeah, we have a Burger Meow, of course. Burger Meow started streaming recently, so give them all the love and all the follows.
Why are you still here?
In game, scenes chat on her phone. Yeah, I think like Gamesy does see that, but I want
little brother and everything like that.
I don't want to like have her raided before stuff. Before she's ready. Let me also put on some synthwave. Yes! Break is over! Break is over! So, thank you so much for hanging out. Thank you so much for staying for this raid. I really appreciate that. Also gives me like... It is just a analytics thing, but I really appreciate that in like the last few minutes of stream, there's no significant drop-off, because that... so, we are going to copy this for a moment. I'm going to do the raid messages once more. Thank you so much, Sunberry, for the raid sub message. So, if you, whichever you have, regardless, thank you so much for joining in. I hope you have a lovely, lovely, lovely evening, or afternoon, or morning, wherever you are on this oblate spheroid. And let's crash this party! I hope to see you sometime soon. Take care.